Okay, you are most welcome to Interpol offices. I'm Senior Commissioner of Police Charles Birungi, the Acting Director of Interpol and International Relations. I'm with my colleague here, Senior Commissioner of Police Obona Joseph. He's the Deputy Director in charge of Interpol Affairs. So our main purpose of calling to interact with you is to deal with trying to put some issues on about the certificates of good conduct issue. Then we shall also brief you about the pending international engagements by Uganda police.
Wonder they are requesting, since we are socially distanced,
you can remove the mask.
Okay.
I hope so. So as I was saying, we are here to give you some brief to the public about the issuance of certificate of good conduct, which this directorate is the lead, and also some brief on pending international engagements. Now, the background is that Interpol has one of its mandate being issuing certificates of good conduct. And the certificate of good conduct normally is a product which is got by combining data with the forensic in terms of criminal records and the Interpol data on international criminal records. When we combine the two and someone is cleared that he doesn't have a record in any of those two datas, then you are issued with that certificate of good conduct. And it's wanted for various purposes. For employment, some companies for employed, they require you to have that certificate. For immigration purposes, visas, work permit, required by those who are going outside to seek jobs, those applying for in universities. So it's a document that is demanded by various organizations who need it as one of the requirements. As a directorate, we normally handle up to 500 or more people per day, those who are applying for the certificates of good conduct. And this one normally brings in a lot of challenges. One of them has been overcrowding, delays in processing the papers, and sometimes also ends up leading to forgeries by people who want quick services and they want to bypass the official system. They end up going to NASA Road to pick those certificates. So last time in May, we launched the online processing of the certificates of good conduct at a press briefing at police headquarters. So we are here to update ourselves on the progress of the implementation of that system. Now currently the system, the booking of the certificates also is online. You go to the UF website and you log in and initiate the process of payment, of processing the certificate. Up to the point of payment, after payment is when now you come here for fingerprinting. So since it's launched in May, we have had some positive results. One of them is that at least the congestion has reduced. I think as you note outside as you are coming, there's no longer a crowd here because people book online and they come at their own time. The other time what was forcing them to come here early is that the booking would be done that very day and everybody would want to be the first to be booked. So it would cause people by 5, 6, they're already crowded here. But now when someone books, he takes his time and comes at his own time. And the automation has also assisted in reducing the turnaround time of processing the certificate. That time we were taking 14 to about 20 days. But now we are at 15 at 5 working days. And we're targeting, when we are fully automated, to reduce it to 1 or 2 days. They were working out with the forensic to integrate the two systems so that the vetting of fingerprints takes a very short time, and that time we should be able to produce the certificate within 1 day. The process says the ICT officer will take you briefly through it, and where the Interpol is the face of the certificate of good conduct, we have many other stakeholders within UPF who are involved. One of them is ICT, are the ones who manage the IT system that we use to print and process the whole processing of the certificates, from transmitting fingerprints, vetting, and printing. Then we also have behind these certificates the Directorate of Forensic Services. They are the ones who keep the records of criminal records of people who have committed crimes in Uganda. So they are the ones in the database, and that's the one which we check in. Then lastly, we have Interpol ourselves, who have the Interpol data on criminals or wanted persons. So those are the 3 key stakeholders who are involved. Then we have others outside, like NIRA. We have to cross-check with the national IDs. We have immigration, who consume our services of the certificates, and UWERA, the Uganda External Employment Association. These ones have been our main customers or clients. However, of recent, you might have heard the news, the Minister of Labor, the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, indicating there was a scrapping of the need for the requirement of certificate of good conduct for migrant laborers. So at the moment, as police, we are still enforcing it, because we only had it in the press. We have not yet got an official communication from the ministry. So when we get the ministry communication, it will be, we shall implement it. What you should know that this certificate of good conduct, as a requirement to be cleared, is not imposed by police. It is imposed by the organization that requires it as one of the requirements to provide you with that service. So for us, you only come when you need it to apply. So that is a clarification that I needed to make. It is not the police that imposes that you should have these certificates, but it's the organization that requires them that put it as a requirement, and you end up coming at the police to apply for it, because we are the ones who are mandated to have that criminal record databases. Now, the cost of this certificate is 76,000, excluding bank charges. We have 2 certificates. There is what we call certificate of good conduct. That one is combines you are cleared for having no criminal record locally here in Uganda, and you also cleared in the database of Interpol that you are not wanted on the international arena. Then the second one is called the police clearance certificate. That one is issued by Directorate of Forensic Services. And that one is only clears you on that you don't have a criminal record locally here in the country, nationally here. So the certificate of good conduct contains both vetting on Interpol data and on the forensic criminal data, where the PCC, police clearance certificate, clears you only on the national criminal data. That's the difference. So most of the PCCs are wanted by local companies here, especially security companies. When engaging security employment of security guards, they normally prefer that one. So those are the two, but some other organizations insist on the certificate of good conduct. So the certificate of good conduct, it costs 76,000, excluding bank charges. However, the new system of online booking, you can pay in bank, you can use mobile money, or you can use Visa or MasterCards, any other those cards. So you can use any of those three payment methods. It's no longer limited to bank. Now that's why I think you need to engage the public. There has been outcry that there are a lot of people being fleeced of money, that the certificate they can even demand up to 300,000 or more. But the official payment, as I've said, is 76,000 for the certificate of good conduct and 23,000 for the police clearance certificate. Any other payment is illegal, is extortion, and the members of the public should try to, as much as possible, not to go for it, because the booking is online, and there was a complaint that people even are rescheduled, are paid, they are rescheduled very far in terms of dates. There's no, you do it online, so there's nobody who interferes in the middle to fix the date far, that is, someone is bribed. It's not true. It is online booking. The challenge we have been having, why now the booking dates are a bit far, is that when we came to the lockdown, the second lockdown, we had to reduce on the number of people we are handling for purposes of reducing congestion. So from the 500 per day we're handling, we came down to 150. So that one created a backlog that kept pushing people dates ahead, booking dates ahead. But now what we have done, we are going back slowly. Currently we're handling 300 per day. And even to be able to clear the backlog, we work on Saturdays as mitigation measures. Also, we are putting up a structure in Naguru. There is a shed. Soon we shall be transferring the services from here to a more spacious place at Naguru there. Maybe within like 1 month, when we finish the furnishing it and the installation of the other infrastructure. So with that one, we should be able to increase our capacity to handle very many people. And even we intend to open regional offices. So those are some future plans where we intend to open up a structure in Naguru to accommodate many, to fully automate the process so that we reduce the time taken to issue the certificate to about 2 to 3 days. So in brief, that is what I had for you about the certificate of good conduct. Our officer from ICT will add on more, especially on the processes and some hiccups which some members of the public normally face when they are booking online. Then on the international engagements, as Police, Uganda Police, we are affiliated to various organizations, international and regional, with the main aim of cooperating and collaborating together to fight transnational organized crimes. So we are part of what we call Interpol, the International Criminal Police Organization, that brings out 194 member countries. This one we are going to have an annual general meeting in Ankara, Turkey on 25th, 26th November this year. And the police chiefs of all countries in the world normally meet together and put up heads together on how they can work and cooperate together to fight crime. We also belong to the Afripol, which is the African Union Police Mechanism for Cooperation. That is responsible, also brings together all the police agencies on the continent, the 54 member countries. We're also a member of that, and we shall be having an annual general meeting on the 20th October. That one will be virtual, but the headquarters of Afripol are based in Algiers, in Algeria. Then lastly, we have the East African Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization, which is normally abbreviated as IAPCO. That one brings together the police chiefs from 14 member countries. It is called Eastern, but it is, you can say Eastern and beyond. We have those countries of East African community. Then we add on those which are outside the East African community, like Sudan, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Comoros, and of recent, last year we were joined by DRC. So that is the member countries of IAPCO. There are 14 member countries, and shall be holding their AGM next week from 11th to 15th of October. And it's going to be a hybrid meeting, meaning that is going to be both virtual and in-person attendance. And the host is going to be Kinshasa, DRC, so it will be held in Kinshasa. Hybrid, there are committees of that AGM. Those will hold their meetings virtual, where the police chiefs and the ministers responsible for police affairs, those will travel to Kinshasa to attend the meeting in person, because there are some protocols and MOUs which are pending signing, and they're supposed to be done physical. So that's why they are required to attend in person. So, in brief, that is what I had on Interpol matters. Then the other area which I wanted, this is more of a particular offense which was committed, which was reported by South Sudan sometime back in 2018, and involved the two children of General Moses Ali, the Deputy Prime Minister. the first deputy prime minister, the second deputy prime minister. It is alleged that they defrauded one Arule Safi Sabiri of $94,000. So when that case came through our international cooperation, Interpol, the South Sudan put a request for the two children. One was called Hafiz and another Remlat, as the wanted persons. And this matter was reported in the Daily Monitor of 12 September 2018 with the headline, General Moses Ali's children wanted by Interpol team. And on the red paper of 20th September 2018, headed the true story of General Ali's children in the 360 million scam. And following its appearance in the papers, also as a procedure, the CID headquarters opened a GF to follow up the matter. However, later in September 2019, the charges against those Hafiz and Remlat were withdrawn by the DPP, the equivalent of DPP in South Sudan. And so they were cleared and they are no longer wanted. That's the clarification which they have been wanting, that we put it right, that record is put right, that they are no longer on the wanted list, because sometime back we are being asked that, well, see these children, I mean these wanted persons here walking free, what happened? But that is what happened, that the case which they were being investigated, where they were brokers for a company that defrauded someone, they were cleared of those charges, so they are now free people. They are no longer on the wanted list, they were removed. Then we have also been carrying out some international operations as part of the Interpol and the YAPCO functions to enhance cooperation in the fight of transnational crimes. This year we have had Simba, which is normally targeted, is a code name targeted on terrorists or terrorism. We had Weka, which targeted human trafficking, and we have had Usalama, which targeted all transnational organized crimes in general. And Senior Commissioner Obona will give you some small highlight on that. Otherwise, thank you very much. That's what I had for you.
I'm Assistant Commissioner of Police Ezra Mujavwami. I'm the Acting Deputy Director, ICT. The Certificate of Good Conduct was developed by in-house Research, Development and Innovation team under the ICT Directorate. It has since undergone product improvement from being an offline application to being an online application. In the past, all the processes were manual. You had to come here to apply, go through the processes until you got your certificate of good conduct. However, since July, after realizing that the demand for the certificate of good conduct was high and the congestion here was becoming really so big that it was even becoming so inconveniencing for other duties, because this is just part of what Interpol is supposed to do. We came up with a method of improving it. Like I've told you, it has undergone iteration. We provided for online application method from July, and it has been working so well. It has improved the productivity. However, we faced a challenge, of course, when during this time of COVID, at the time of the applicants coming to declare their fingerprints, it became an issue that we could not handle a big number of people. But we realized that even after reducing on the population here, we still have our applicants receive their applications, their certificates in time because of the online capability. I will take you through the process so that you get to know the universal resource locator, the method of applying online. In the same period, 1,614 police clearance certificates have been issued out. The revenue collection on both certificate of good conduct and the police clearance certificate has been highlighted by the director, Interpol. I wouldn't wish to get back into that. However, the system has been undergoing review and upgrades to fit the expectations of the applicants or of the people I would call our clients, because police also has clients. If we are serving you, definitely you are clients. We have, however, faced a challenge because of the ever increasing number of applicants. We found that we could not handle, especially when it came to the time of entering the fingerprints and other biodata, this physical interaction with applicant. And that's why we are trying to mitigate it by creating another center in Naguru. As I talk now, as ICT, we are trying to extend the UPF intranet so that we avail that room for use. I'm sure by November it will be in use. Part of the improvements include our effort to acquire more fingerprint scanners so that we're able to handle big numbers. When you apply online, you get a notification through your email address generated from our unified messaging application. But we also believe that part of our population does not access emails regularly, let alone some people not having even email addresses. So we're also working towards making sure that whoever applies gets an SMS notification through the usual USSD, even though with that one some telecom costs apply, but we shall do it for those who can manage it. During this time of improving the system, we also realized that the document security needs to be emphasized so that we do not again have fraudsters duplicating this document, and we put measures in place. First of all, this document normally has a barcode system that generates that unique number, and this unique number can actually always be verified at the entry and exit points from this country. And we provided to them a link so that when you present this document, it can be verified. I'm sure you're aware that some people have been actually arrested with forged documents. That's the method we use. On the processes are simple, a few steps. You apply through the online link. The URL is service.upf.go.ug. When you open, you create an account, and then you are introduced to an interface where you have a form. You fill the form. The form has quite a number of fields, some of which are very mandatory, but these fields include your personal information, the biodata. And when you fill this form rightly, you submit, and then the system automatically generates to you a pay slip. I think that's what you call the PRN. Yes, the payment receipt number, meaning that your IRA is ready to receive your payment. And when that happens, you can pay through various online banking applications, including mobile money, bank, payway, Visa, etc. Then the applicant, having paid, books for an appointment to come for fingerprints capture. And I think that's a process going on in the other building. And when your fingerprints are verified by our forensics directorate and you are cleared, you are found to have a good criminal record, the process takes on, and ideally you're supposed to have your certificate ready within 3 to 5 days. So that is the process. Thank you for listening.
And the colleague from the press, as the director has mentioned, Interpol, or as it is called, International Criminal Police Organization, has 194 member countries. In each of the 194 member countries, there is a central office known as the National Central Bureau, like this very structure where we operate from. Now, because of the Interpol database at its disposal, this database has 18 different parameters, one of which is on wanted persons who have committed different forms of crimes, terrorism, theft, fraud, and so on, and they are on the run. For example, if somebody committed a crime here in Uganda and perhaps he has run somewhere, the local police will approach Interpol with a warrant of arrest from court, and that information will be populated on the international database of Interpol. So that person will remain wanted until he's arrested. Now, some of the databases include information on stolen motor vehicles, like those other vehicles you are seeing. Those are some of the vehicles that were intercepted as a result of Interpol-related operation. And then there are also databases on missing persons, or persons who have died, and several others. Now, what I wanted to inform you is that because of this Interpol initiative, every year there are a number of Interpol-led operations that are conducted in several countries. For example, here in Uganda, we have had Operation Simba. Operation Simba targets terrorism and related crimes. You know, since the 2011, the 2010 terror attack in USA, all the world came together. 209? The USA attack, yes. Yeah, so as a result of that, the global communities came together, and with the concerted objective of countering terrorism. So this is one of the objectives of this operation, to counter and fight terrorism in all its form. Now, Operation Simba was conducted in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Of course, there were some terror suspects who were arrested. The one I remember very vividly in Mutukula, where 25 kilograms of explosives were impounded. The other operation that we have had is Operation Weka. Operation Weka targets aspects of trafficking in person and smuggling of human being. This was the first initiative by Interpol, and it was conducted this year, where we have had two operations, one in March and then the second one in July. For your information, one of the fast growing form of transnational organized crime is human trafficking, because of its various aspects. What is happening is that some of the people who are smuggled or trafficked to different countries, other than being abused in various forms, exploited as prostitutes, it has reached a level where some of them are deprived of their body parts, kidney and liver. We have had a filler where one of our own from Uganda here ended up in Libya as a slave. That case, we are linking up with the Interpol. We are following. It's a very extreme form of criminality. And then the other operation, of course, still on Weka. Weka operation, so far 29 African countries and some in the Middle East, North Africa, and that belt of Spain, England participated in it. And then we have had also Operation Usalama, as the director has mentioned. This one has been on since 2014. And one of the major highlight of Operation Usalama is impounding of some of those high-end vehicles that are stolen mainly from South Africa and Britain. For example, the Land Rovers you are seeing it there, the Range Rovers, these are vehicles meant for the British market, but when they are stolen, they are taken to Middle East, Dubai, and then eventually our citizens from Uganda import them, or they buy them through bond. And then when we conduct this operation, we find them populated on the international database, and that's how we impound them. So this one also serves as a caution, because it is another form of money laundering. The criminal gangster steals this vehicle using their network. It is taken to the market. From the market, innocent buyers buy them. The criminal would have ended up with the clean money. You know, with money laundering is that process of transforming that illegal money, the dirty money, into something that is clean. That's one of the objectives that we exist under Interpol to combat it. Then other operation that have taken place is Operation Golden Strike. This one is targeting aspects of environmental crimes and aspects of wildlife. You know, in Uganda we have had cases of trophies, pangolins, iguanas, ivories, and so on, taken to Asian countries, particularly China, and some of the countries in the Far East. So Operation Golden Strike was particularly targeted on wildlife traffic to China and the Asian countries. And then the other one, which is currently going on, is Operation Thunder. Operation Thunder is again on environment and wildlife trophies. all these operations, our role as Interpol is to coordinate on behalf of the local law enforcement agencies. When we get information about this operation, we link up with our national police, we link up with our custom agencies, URA, we link up with organizations like Uganda Wildlife Authorities, Immigration, our sister security organization, and collectively we conduct this operation. And I think the other area I wanted to mention is that imported vehicles that are brought into the country before they are registered, sometimes they are brought to here for verification that they are not stolen from outside the countries. And as a result of that, some of the vehicles we impound here are impounded during the process of verification. For example, in between January 2020 and August this year, we cleared 670 motor vehicles. Out of those motor vehicles cleared, we impounded 15 because they were reported stolen. 6 were stolen from South Africa, 4 from UK, and 5 from Japan. One of the 5 from Japan is parked there. The others from UK, they are also parked there. And the one from South Africa, some are here and some are with our counterpart with in the bond with revenue authorities. So briefly, that's what I was asked to present. Thank you very much.
About we've been getting as journalists complaints about people saying you're dead, and they say if you don't have the money, use it, will take the days. Trying to tell us how many people you have as Interpol your data who are wanted list, wanted to record within Interpol premises and others just outside. For years, where has been the weakness?
Mine goes to upon the Asia. Why is it so hard for you to?
From Mr. Kato, when can someone get a certificate of good conduct in one day? There are some cases that come as emergencies. You get someone either once is traveling today, he has got an air ticket, and he has just been told that he requires a certificate of good conduct where he's going. In some of those cases where there is need for urgent certificate of good conduct, it is forensic who can quicken that process, the forensic services. Because what delays or makes the vetting take like 3 to 5 days is when the certificate, when you are fingerprinted, they are forwarded to the Forensic Services Department, Directorate for Vetting, and it takes like 3 to 4 days to get them back. However, if someone has a really burning issue, we always refer him to the Forensic Services to try to see how they can work out and bring out that certificate that very day. It's true, we have had some of those very few cases, maybe in a day, none, but we have had them. 2, how many people on the wanted database? I didn't come prepared for it. Maybe later we can provide you that information. But there are very many, because as I've said, the database is fed by 194 member countries. Unless you want only those who are Ugandans, but otherwise for the whole database, it's a very large database. Okay, that one maybe later. Why are people conned from the compound of Interpol? It is a voice which is common around organizations which have services which are on high demand, and people can come and pretend to be providing you a service when actually they are not members of the institution where you want the service. However, as Interpol, we have always deployed, and if there is anyone who is got, we normally arrest and take them to court. It is a voice which is not so easy to fight, because in most cases, some people don't tell you about the where he has got the papers. It only comes to you for you think everything has been processed following the normal process. But those brokers are normally there in the organizations. The issue is to put a mechanism for us to fight them. Like here even we have some crime intelligence officers deployed for that purpose. And we are trying as much as we can to eliminate it. Thank you.
Thank you. The other one.
Then with the backlog of how many we have, that one we may not be able to tell. It's until when someone applies in the system that you will tell. But currently we are registering 250 per day because the system cuts you off. So you may not be able to tell how many are there waiting to get an opportunity to apply, but the number is big.
Why don't we get fingerprints directly from those already captured by NIRA? The reason is that there is a difference in the detail of the features required for civil and criminal purposes, because the essence of fingerprints now here is an issue of matching and comparing. The criminal records are with the police. The difference here is that NIRA captures fingerprints for civil purposes and the police captures for criminal purposes. That's the difference. Thank you.